Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to your 2023 Look Ahead reading. My name is Sarah Mackenzie. I read as Sora for Sora Sky Messages by Sora. And for today, we will be using the Wild Unknown Pocket Tarot for the bulk of your reading. Looking at a card for your sign, opportunities and obstacles, cards for what you can and can't control next year, as well as one for each month, and then we will move on to the Wildwood Tarot, where we will grab 3 cards as themes for the year. While I am shuffling, I want to tell you a little bit about my 2023. I have been working on a tarot deck with Killer Pancake Illustration. She is doing all the artwork, don't worry. She is amazing. You may know her from the Bridge Witches deck, from the Cult deck, Inferno, the Lost River deck. She is an expert at getting these things together, and all of her runs have been fairly limited so far because she has used her own funding. So with this collaboration, which is a deck using the folklore of this area, we will be taking this one to Kickstarter, and that will be January 10th, 2023. It will be the first link, the first anything you see in the description. If you could check that out, share it out, that would be wonderful. We would really like to reach as many people as possible. So thank you in advance for that, and let's get started with your reading. Starting with a card for you, we have the Hierophant. I love the raven on the key. The Hierophant is all about tradition, but also about what those traditions mean to you. This is the perfect time of year to be doing this, so this card that is taking you through into 2023 makes a lot of sense. This is a card of letting your wisdom adjust your beliefs. So this often comes with a lot of soul seeking as you look at what you were raised to believe, what you grew up with in your communities, and where you fit in that now. The Hierophant is very much about community, but it's very much your identity within the community and that journey for you. So this can come with a lot of inner knowledge, a lot of awakenings as to yourself and to who you really are. Looking at an opportunity, we have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. So this is interesting for 2 reasons. One is that I shuffle so that my cards do not go in reverse. So to have that always says to me that we need to pay extra special attention to it. As such, this is your opportunity to redefine what enough means to you. To look at what having everything or what life should look like means to you. With those beliefs adjusting, it is time to make sure that you adjust your views on what you need in life. Because which resources we need, how we feel about what's around us really does adjust along with these beliefs. Moving on to obstacles, we have the Hanged Man. This is a difficulty to see the things from another person's perspective. That is your obstacle. Back to the Hierophant, because this is what you're carrying into the new year, so it will directly feed into this. As we change and learn, sometimes we stop having patience for the people who used to think the way, or still think the way we used to. Some empathy and remembering that you were once there too. Some slow and steady information will go a long way. The thing that always gets me about the Hangman is him being upside down suggests a 180 change, which doesn't really help you much, because really, whatever that new belief system is, you're going to act the same way. You're going to have the same thing. It's just going to be dressed up differently. Similarly, trying to change someone's mind by telling them they're wrong because you know better now is not going to help. Little bits of wisdom here and there will help you both. What you can control. The Ten of Pentacles. I love this. The Ten of Pentacles is a card of legacy. It is, what do you want to pay forward? What do you want to put out into your community? When you have enough, when you are at a point where you don't have to think about day to day, and instead you can think about what mark you want to leave on the world. This what you can control is very much what you put out there. Very much how you're seen, what you do, how you live your life, so that the impression you leave on others, essentially. And no, you can't really decide how people are going to take things. You can't decide what information people are going to use. But you can decide what is out there to be used. What you can't control. The Seven of Swords. So I'm usually a huge fan of the Seven. I usually see it more as strategy than the whole sneakiness. That said, where it is in this what you can't control, there is kind of the idea of others working against you. There is the idea of what winning at all costs means. You may be able to put your best forward and be competitive without doing things that are unethical, but you may be up against somebody who doesn't have those same qualms. Or you could be the person who would rather win. That said, because it's what you can't control, like, you can control whether or not you do things that are malicious. You can't control whether or not other people do. So back to, you control what goes out there, you can't control what other people do with it. Moving on to cards for every month. For January, we have the Wheel of Fortune. This can be things looking up. If you were to Google it, you would usually find good fortune or good luck, and for me that is part of it, but for me it is really more of a change in fortune or luck, a reminder that there are different cycles. Being that it's the beginning of the year, it is a change into a new year, but it does also feel like a reminder that things don't stay the same way forever. This is my This Too Shall Pass card, and have it here, especially with that web of life, says that if you will allow it to, destiny will work in your favor. I am, if you've watched any of these know, a big proponent of free will. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe in destiny or fate. I believe that if the universe wants something for you, they are going to keep trying to put it in your way. And that when you use your free will to just go with it and to let it nudge you along, then things will stay better for you for longer than if you fight it. For February, we have the Hermit, which is where you will be reflecting on the changes in your life. You will be realizing how much improvement there's been, even if it's not where you want it to be. You'll be able to start to see how the wheel has been turning upward for you for a while. March, we have the Father or King of Swords. This can be a card of being up in your head. This can be a card of excellent planning. I think the biggest determiner of that right now will be how ready you are to accept things, have faith in yourself. If you are still struggling with the idea of who you are and what you want, this is going to be over planning and overthinking. If you've really taken that time with the Hermit to gather some confidence, this will be more about having a better strategy, better communication. This will be about being able to get your ideas out swiftly, quickly. It would be a month where people are listening to you, where you are getting your ideas and everything else out there. In April, we have the Ten of Cups. That is the happy endings card. That is a card of accomplishment, of reaching a place in a relationship or situation that makes you feel content and happy. I love it after the King of Swords, especially because his sword's that rainbow. And it's like he's gone in with his plan and ideas and knowledge, and it's like, this is what I want, and this is who I am, and this is what makes me happy, and this is what we're going to do. So I love that, because it's very much, if you can build that confidence and come out with that plan, then you can very much let that all shine. Now, with the Ten of Cups, there is that reminder that it's okay to miss things that had to go away to get here, or even what the last level was, even the efforts put in. Sometimes you miss the journey, even as hard as it was, because you look back and you're talk about all the funny things. Like, there's a lot of ways to look back and be like, oh, but as long as you're not looking back wishing you were there instead, then you're in a pretty good place. For May, we have the Sun, a very good place. That sunburst, that is the warmth, that is the coming out into the sun and letting it shine on you, and basking, and abundance, blessings, letting things pour in. So it's a good couple months there in the spring. Into June, we have the Ten of Swords. Something coming to an end, something no longer being good. So there's a lot of endings here, while a lot of tens too, because the wheel is also a 10. Well, the Pentacles are about legacy, and they're like ending in a way where you have enough resource and you're taking that ending and making it go further. The Ten of Cups, you have that happy endings where you are succeeding. The Ten of Swords isn't going to feel like as good of an ending, because it is the ending of something you didn't want to end. It is, however, the ending of something that should end. For me, this card is very much a card of victory and freedom. And it should be embraced even if it is not the ending you were looking for. July, we have the Two of Pentacles. Picking up a lot of responsibility. And usually with the two, I ask if there's anything you could put down. But in this case, I think we do have to pick it up. An ending that you weren't looking for often means a new beginning somewhere else, and that is great. But it does mean a change in scenery and a change in responsibilities. And you may be juggling some extra for a little bit while you settle into the new situation. For August, we have the Three of Wands. That is a card of spiritual growth, which often happens when you have a lot of endings in one place, especially when they are a mixed bag. This whole spread so far speaks to the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. And that sort of thing will trigger the kind of spiritual growth and the kind of awakening that you get with the Three of Wands. In September, we have the Six of Wands. That is a card of recognition, generally public recognition. So if this is the sort of thing where it's a promotion, expect to have an announcement and maybe even a party or a dinner. If this is something you're passionate about, like a hobby or an art or something that you've been working on, this is the kind of thing that could be a write-up in the paper. It could be a gallery opening. It could be all kinds of things, but it is very much related to what you're passionate about. A quick reminder, no matter how much you are celebrated for this, it is not the only thing about you. It is not the only wonderful thing about you. So enjoy it, but don't get sucked up into it. In October, we have the Father of Wands, or the King of Wands. This is where you'll be able to put down some of those responsibilities you've picked up. The King of Wands is a card of delegation. It is the card that says, let me focus on what I'm good at, what I love, and those things that are necessary, but not my strong points and not what I'm passionate about. Let me give them to people who are competent and will open up that time for me so that I can do what I love and what I need to, especially now that I'm being recognized for it. In November, we have the Nine of Wands. That is a card of grit and resilience. This many wands together, especially with one of them being fairly high up, does say that we need a little bit of a rest. It is grit, it is resilience, sure, but with that many wands, that suggests the fire has been burning for a long time. And if you are not attending to all of your other needs, drinking enough water, paying your bills, doing whatever else you need to survive, you will burn out. We want to avoid burnout. The cool thing about the 9, though, is that it always says hold on a little bit longer because you will see through to your vision. And in December, we have the 5 of Pentacles. Now, that is a card where we are concerned about resources. So possibly in October, there is an over-delegation where we're giving away all of the things we don't want to do, but, they cost money. It could be from the burnout in November, but there is a concern over resources. Whether that concern is accurate or not will largely be up to how you've handled the rest of the year. But for me, that 5 is usually more about the feeling of worry than the actual problem. And might just need you to go through, keep score, and really take stock of everything a little bit extra. So you begin and end with a 5, and you have 4 10s out of the 5 10s in the deck, and 2 9s. That is very much a spread that speaks to the end of a big life lesson, and the end of a big cycle in your life. 2023 will likely be the year that changes everything for you, in a way where you move from being one person into another. So as we go into the Wildwood Tarot to get your themes for the year, I am going to thank you for liking and subscribing. I am going to remind you that these readings are for a sign instead of an individual person, which means it may not completely resonate, and that is fine. I would love for it to resonate for everybody, but it would be weird if there were only 12 life paths for the year out there, so I do understand. But if you would like an individual reading, you can book one on my website. For year aheads, you really should do an hour. These are 20 to 30 minutes, but that is specifically because it is a reading for a community instead of people that I'm in front of. Half-hour readings are available, but I would look at month ahead, or like 3 month ahead, or 6 month ahead in that case. If there isn't a date or time or whatever that fits, just go ahead and email me. It's not a problem. We will find something that works for both of us. As for this reading, I do encourage you to take what resonates and leave the rest. Feel free to go through the months, and at the end of 2023, let me know how accurate it was for you. For our themes, we have the Woodward. That is Justice card. That is a card where we get answers. It is also a card where we seek fairness. This is interesting with all of those endings and the picking up and putting down of responsibilities. That is less about fairness as in right and wrong, and more about fairness and balance in what we can handle and what we can't. putting down what we need to, but also not being afraid to pick up new things. It's interesting because we have that with the Two of Arrows, which they call injustice. The Two of Swords is a card of choice. And it almost feels like this injustice is that you can't have it all. You cannot do everything that you would like and still get everywhere you want to be. But I love the balance between the idea of justice and injustice. Because you will have your answers, but you need to take the steps before you can get the results. And the Sun of Life, more blessings. So the themes are going to be about finding out what is best, what is balanced, what is right for you, and making those choices, and letting those blessings come in as you make those choices. All in all, it looks like a very fulfilling year, one that will have its ups and downs in a way, but will also seal up a lot of things and help you make that transition into growing into who you've become instead of clinging on to who you used to be. Have a wonderful birthday season, and thank you so much.